So we're joined now by Stephen Jackman, who you went to Eurogamer Expo last week.
I did indeed, on a Thursday.
Were you excited to go for it? Because it is a massive event.
Yes, the only thing I've really been to previously is the MCM Expos, and this was sort of it seemed on a completely different scale.
Because it's amazing how from nowhere in a couple of years it's gone to real full game scale, looking like E3, where you can try everything.
Literally,
it's huge.
Literally, that's what it looked like to me. From when you see screenshots or photos of E3, it looked like the whole big setup, the whole shebang.
And so atmosphere must have just been
Definitely.
phenomenal. So you telling us about some of the games you go with, and should we start with Allstars?
Yep.
This is the sort of Super Smash Brothers-esque, definitely not Super Smash Brothers game for PlayStation fans.
Sony Smash Brothers, as it was mockingly called when it was announced, but it was meant to be out round about now. They have pushed it back to November.
Yes.
Most of the roster has been revealed, and crucially, how does it play?
From what I'd seen previously, because, huge fan of Smash Bros. Beforehand, huge fan of the Sony platform as well. All the stuff didn't look particularly polished, but the build they had there was the most recent one with the latest character reveals, Daniel Fortescue and that lot, and it looked really polished. Aside from the first game I played on it, because I managed to get it when it wasn't a particularly busy time, I played as Uncharted's Nathan Drake.
Yes.
Activated, you got the level 1, level 2, level 3 super moves. And during level 3s, it freezes time briefly, like the clock stops, except I managed to glitch it in the first game I played, and the game didn't resume, and everyone was stuck as a zombie. Aside from that, it did play very nice, and it was sort of very noticeable. There were some more difficult characters to pick up as per more tournament-level fighting games like Street Fighter.
So it feels like they've made an effort to differentiate it from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which is more of a sort of casual, everyone in the family can sort of get involved.
Yeah, it felt like there was some characters you couldn't quite easily pick up, but all of them couldn't just go and play any character you wanted. They take a bit of learning sort of thing.
Which is good, because when you have a game like it's normally come with karting games, it's described as, it's Mario Kart, but.
Yeah.
And then from that point, it will always be in the shadow, but it does stand on its own as being as good.
Whereas, you can look at it, you see 4 characters on screen, you just go, it's Smash Brothers. Once you've got a controller in hand, I personally felt a lot different playing it.
And still hope of a few sort of legendary Sony mascots to be announced. We look forward to that.
So that is All-Stars. Next game that we're going to go for is Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, because that's totally a real word.
Fantastic word.
So give us sort of a one-up on Revengeance there, Darren.
Yes, Revengeance, instead of taking control of Solid Snake, or a variable of Solid Snake, in this one,
snake. Any snakes.
You'll be controlling Raiden, and the emphasis is less on sort of tactical espionage action, for which the Metal Gear Solid series is famously known.
There was the one game I waited longest to actually play was Rising Revenge. I was incredibly surprised that sort of lines, I was in there for a good 10-15 minute line waiting before I could actually go on one. It was the longest wait of all Eurogamer, aside from the Kojima conference, which I didn't get into because it was packed.
Oh, was Hideo Kojima there?
Yes, they had a developer session.
Excellent.
But Rising, it looked fantastic. I mean, they're probably running it on some rigs hidden behind the thing to make it look even shinier. But it was great. It was really, I picked the easy difficulty just because I was told if I finished in the 15 minutes I'd get a nice 3D poster.
All right, nice.
Which I did. But my friend picked normal, and it's very, very difficult. There's not a block or dodge button. His weak strike, which is square on the PlayStation controller, works as a parry as well, and you have to time it perfectly or you get torn through it. It's a very difficult game, but all of it looks really flashy. Sort of every now and then you get to slow time and cut things and pull power out and charge your life up.
And so it does play well, then?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good game.
You went to Eurogamer to play 3 games, and you got to play all 3 of them, thankfully.
Yes.
What was the third?
DmC, the reboot for Devil May Cry.
So it's one you're looking forward to. Did it meet your expectations?
Aside from one of the nice elements of it is they've got the physics of the world, like the demons have control over it, so it sort of shifts around Dante, your character, when his crazy, not white hair, so everyone's annoyed, new look. But aside from one bit where I think my feet phased through the floor, because it might have been, I swear I've seen this demo played at like maybe E3 or something, it might have been that version. Really nice. It was different from the Devil May Cry I previously played, where it was sort of all combos, sort of mainly with the face buttons. You sort of had a choice between angelic mode, which was sort of faster and you coming to enemies, and a demon mode on the other set of shoulder buttons, which was sort of power hitting slow and pulling enemies towards you. But once you got the hang of it, it was sort of a really nice, intuitive system. I thought.
So they seem to have developed a more sort of tactical system. The idea that some enemies, obviously, there
were some with shields,
attacks.
so you had to use the power to get through the shields. There's some in the air, so you had to pull them towards you or pull yourself towards them in different scenarios.
It's looking promising then.
So if we had to push you, 3 games you played, those are the ones you were excited for. Which is the one that is now top of the Christmas list?
I'd go with Allstars. I'm looking forward to that anyway. And I played like 5, 6, 7 characters on it. I was quite happy to have a go, and they all felt really different. And well, I'm buying anyway. Pre-order bonuses and all.
Excellent, Stephen. Thank you very much.
No problem.
So we're continuing to talk about the Eurogamer Expo, and one of the highlights of the show, in my mind, I didn't go, but it was the thing I wanted to see, was Nintendo's new console, the Wii U, as people there got, I think it's sort of the first public chance to play it in the UK. Yeah. So quite a big moment. The console's coming out at the end of the year, and you were very lucky and got the chance to play on it. At
Eurogamer, just sort of saying they had their own little Nintendo village sort of thing. They had tons of Nintendo Land, which personally I wasn't that fussed about. It's bundled in with the Pro Packs. If I get it, I'll probably get it anyway. And what I was looking for was the Platinum games, being a fan of sort of Platinum Games titles, Wonderful 101. So I got hands on that first time with a Wii tablet. Particularly for that game, some things felt, as you sort of did with the DS, they had it for the sake of it, the sake of the gimmick sort of thing. Because in Wonderful 101, just you've got your 100 character. Well, you got your little superhero group. You can get more if you circle round. You can do it with an analog stick or on the touchpad, and they can form different weapons, sort of depending on the leader. And you can sort of make the symbol on the touchpad, or you can select the leader manually and do it with buttons, which was a lot easier.
So how long did it take for you to go mostly back to buttons rather than using a lot of the
I did the buttons. The buttons was sort of almost instant. I think I tried one touch thing. It was like the buttons are a lot easier. Aside from that gimmick thing, which I think some games unfortunately will suffer from, there was one nice thing. Your characters go inside buildings and then it changes down to the touchscreen, which I thought was really nice. And the screen itself, once it's got gameplay on it, or the proper gameplay, looks really nice, and it was sort of nice to go up and down.
The thing that seems to be splitting opinion on the Wii U is the tablet controller. Did it feel particularly bulky compared to a normal controller?
Your hands quite comfortably fit around the sides. It's fairly light as well, actually.
Okay.
Any other games you got to try?
I saw some other games being played, which I saw one of my mates played Pikmin 3.
Now that's something that's been looking forward to for a long time.
The first game that they showed off at E3 in their conference, Nintendo.
Yeah. It doesn't use the tablet as far as I'm aware. It just seemed to use a Wiimote. From what I saw, the demo, I think it went up to sort of a large bug boss character, and it was all sort of, just Wiimote stuff, I guess, just sort of possibly appeasing the fans because they wanted the next Pikmin title.
I suppose the killer question is really, it's difficult to judge a console based on a relative short amount of playtime with it, but it is the big sort of gaming event of this Christmas, obviously, a new console coming out. It always attracts a great crowd. From what you've played, would you perhaps be tempted into a purchase?
Bias aside from the game titles, there's nothing wrong with the controller. I feel lots of devs will hopefully pick that one up and make some quite intuitive games with it. I'm definitely swayed towards it.
So it's going to work, just the titles aren't there yet?
Yeah.
Which I suppose what you have normally. I'm thinking back to the 3DS launch. I remember when I first got my hands on that, I just picked up the system and it was not even playing a game, it was one of the tech demos, and I was just looking around and go, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
And it had just had that this is cool moment. I don't know what I'll play on it. And for launch it was Pilot Wings, which was good fun, but nothing groundbreaking. And it takes a while, like you had with the DS, for those real features to take advantage of.
And the platform sellers come out.
Everything that comes together for it. And you sort of worry when they go, right, we're doing this thing. You just always sit back and go, I'm not sure that will work. And there's always that worry that it'll come up to go, they've got this great idea, but it just won't work. Though thankfully it sounds like it's actually going to come together.
Yeah, it all seems to work.
Well, thank you very much for coming in and chatting to us.
No problem.
Excellent.